Retro Road Test, Citroen AX vs Vauxhall Nova. Small hatchbacks defined the automotive landscape of the 1980s and early 1990s in Europe. They were affordable, practical, and efficient, making them the ideal choice for first-time buyers and city dwellers. Two standout models of this era were the Citroen AX and the Vauxhall Nova. Both cars were light, compact, and designed with a similar ethos, but each brought its own unique flair to the road. In this road test, we'll pit the Citroen AX against the Vauxhall Nova to see how they compare across key aspects like design, performance, handling, comfort, economy, and ownership experience. Design and styling. Citroen AX. The Citroen AX was introduced in 1986 and carried the distinctive flair of French design. It sported a sleek, aerodynamic body with a slightly wedge-shaped profile. Citroen made sure the AX stood out in terms of lightness, weighing as little as 640 kilograms. This made it one of the lightest production cars at the time, contributing to its nimble performance and fuel economy. Its styling was minimalist yet quirky, with rectangular headlights, a thin grille, and understated bumpers. The AX's slender proportions and tall roofline made it deceptively roomy on the inside, despite its small exterior footprint. One of the more innovative features of the AX was its use of lightweight materials, such as plastic for the tailgate, which helped keep the weight down. Its simple, no-frills approach reflected Citroen's priority on efficiency over luxury, though the car still managed to look modern for its time. Vauxhall Nova. In contrast, the Vauxhall Nova, known as the Opel Corsa in other markets, debuted in 1983 with a more conventional design. It had a boxier appearance than the AX, with sharper lines and a sturdier, more upright stance. The Nova's design was conservative, appealing to a broader range of buyers who may have preferred a more traditional look. The front end was dominated by rectangular headlights and a wide grille, with a slightly angular appearance typical of 1980s hatchbacks. While the Nova wasn't as innovative in terms of weight reduction, it did have a solid, reliable build quality. Its design was simple but practical, and over the years, it gained a reputation for being a durable and trustworthy car. The Nova had a range of body styles, including 3- and 5-door hatchbacks, and even saloon versions, which gave it an advantage in terms of versatility. Interior and comfort. Citroen AX. Stepping inside the Citroen AX, you immediately notice the sparse, utilitarian interior. The materials used were predominantly hard plastics, which kept costs down but also meant the cabin could feel a bit bare. However, the simplicity worked in the AX's favor, as the layout was clean and intuitive. The instrument cluster was basic, with a speedometer, fuel gauge, and warning lights, but it was easy to read and understand. Citroen was known for quirky interiors, but the AX kept things straightforward, focusing on function over form. Despite its small size, the AX offered surprising interior space, particularly in terms of headroom. Rear seat passengers could find themselves a bit cramped, but the tall roofline helped create a sense of openness. The seating position was high, which gave the driver a commanding view of the road. The seats themselves were fairly firm and offered decent support, though longer journeys could leave you feeling a bit fatigued. In higher spec models like the GT and GDI, Citroen added more supportive, sportier seats, which improved comfort and aesthetics. Vauxhall Nova. The interior of the Vauxhall Nova was similarly basic, though slightly more conventional than the AX. The dashboard layout was clean and functional, with easy-to-reach controls. The materials used were durable, and while the plastics weren't particularly luxurious, they felt robust and could withstand the rigors of daily use. Vauxhall's build quality shone through in the Nova's cabin, with fewer squeaks and rattles compared to the lightweight AX. The Nova offered better all-around comfort, with wider, more padded seats that provided good support for both short and long journeys. There was more space in the rear seats as well, thanks to the car's boxier dimensions, making it a more practical choice for families or those who frequently carried passengers. Visibility was excellent, with large windows and a low dashboard, making the Nova feel more airy and spacious than the AX. Performance and handling. Citroen AX. The Citroen AX's lightweight construction played a significant role in its performance. With engines ranging from a 1.0-liter unit producing 45 horsepower to a more potent 1.4-liter engine in the AX GT and GTI models, the AX was never about outright speed, but rather agility and efficiency. The base models offered decent performance for city driving, with quick responses and enough power to navigate urban traffic. However, it was the GT and GTI models that truly stood out, delivering punchy performance thanks to their low weight and peppy engines. The AX GT, with its 1.4-liter engine producing 85 horsepower, could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 9 seconds, which was impressive for a small car in the 1980s. Its low weight and direct steering made it a joy to throw around corners, offering a nimble, go-kart-like driving experience. The suspension was relatively soft, which helped absorb bumps in the road, but this could result in some body roll during enthusiastic driving. Nevertheless, the AX was fun and engaging to drive, particularly in its sportier guises. Vauxhall Nova. The Vauxhall Nova was available with a wider range of engines, from a 1.0-liter unit producing 45 horsepower to a 1.6-liter engine in the Nova GTE, which offered 100 horsepower. In its base form, the Nova was slightly slower off the line compared to the AX, but it felt more solid and planted on the road. The Nova's heavier build meant it didn't feel as nimble as the AX, but it compensated with a more stable and predictable ride, especially at higher speeds. The Nova GTE was the performance king of the range, delivering brisk acceleration and a respectable 0 to 60 miles per hour time of around 9 seconds. Its handling was more composed than the AX GT's, with less body roll and better high-speed stability. The steering, while not as sharp as the AX's, was well-weighted and provided decent feedback. The Nova felt more like a grown-up car compared to the playful AX, making it a better choice for longer journeys or motorway driving. Economy and efficiency. Citroen AX. One of the Citroen AX's greatest strengths was its fuel economy. The lightweight design and efficient engines meant the AX could achieve impressive fuel consumption figures, especially in its diesel versions. The 1.5-liter diesel model was known for delivering over 60 mpg, making it one of the most economical cars of its time. Even the petrol engines were frugal, with the 1.0-liter models capable of around 50 mpg in mixed driving conditions. The AX's efficiency made it an ideal choice for budget-conscious buyers or those who needed a cheap-to-run city car. Vauxhall Nova. The Vauxhall Nova wasn't quite as efficient as the AX, but it still delivered good fuel economy for the era. The smaller 1.0-liter and 1.2-liter engines could return around 45 to 50 mpg, depending on driving conditions. The 1.3-liter and 1.4-liter models were slightly less economical, but they offered a good balance of performance and efficiency. The Nova also had a diesel variant, though it wasn't as widely available as the AX diesel. Overall, the Nova was cost-effective to run, though it couldn't quite match the AX's exceptional fuel-sipping abilities. Reliability and ownership. Citroen AX. While the Citroen AX had a lot going for it in terms of performance and efficiency, reliability wasn't always its strong suit. The lightweight construction that made the AX so nimble also meant that it could feel fragile over time. Electrical issues and rattles were common complaints, particularly in older models. The AX's suspension was also prone to wear, especially if driven enthusiastically. However, the engines themselves were generally robust, particularly the 1.5-liter diesel, which was known for its longevity. On the plus side, the AX was cheap to maintain, with parts readily available and affordable. Its simple design made it easy to work on, which was a bonus for DIY enthusiasts. Insurance costs were also low, making the AX an affordable car to own and run, provided you could overlook some of its reliability quirks. Vauxhall Nova. The Vauxhall Nova earned a reputation for being a reliable, durable car. Its build quality was superior to the AX, and it could withstand the test of time better. The Nova's engines, particularly the 1.3-liter and 1.4-liter units, were known for their dependability, and many Novas continued to run well into high mileages with minimal issues. The electrics were generally more reliable than those in the AX, and the car's sturdier construction meant fewer rattles and squeaks developed over time. Ownership costs were also reasonable, with the Nova being cheap to service and repair. Parts were widely available, and the simplicity of the car made it easy to work on for mechanics and DIY owners alike. The Nova's higher reliability and solid build quality made it a favorite among buyers looking for a trouble-free ownership experience. Verdict: choosing between the Citroen AX and the Vauxhall Nova ultimately comes down to what you prioritize in a small hatchback. The Citroen AX excels in terms of efficiency, lightness, and fun, offering a nimble and economical driving experience. However, its fragile build quality and lower levels of comfort may be drawbacks for those looking for a more practical and long-lasting car. The Vauxhall Nova, on the other hand, is the more conventional and dependable choice. It may not be as fun to drive as the AX, but it offers better comfort, more space, and greater reliability. For those seeking a small car that's easy to live with and cheap to maintain, the Nova is the better all-around package. In conclusion, if you want a lightweight, fun-to-drive car with excellent fuel economy and you don't mind sacrificing a bit of comfort and durability, the Citroen AX is the car for you. But if you value reliability, comfort, and a more solid feel on the road, the Vauxhall Nova is the better choice. Both cars have their merits, and either one will bring you back to an era when small, affordable hatchbacks ruled the roads.